The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Superstition, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32973. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start under the front bumper area. Under the front bumper, you're going to find 2 ground lights. These are part of your perimeter lights. Just inward of that location, you'll also find 2 downward facing closed tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find dual sirens. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find dual air horns. Let's move up onto the bumper extension where you'll find a tubbed storage location for your front bumper load. There is some Velcro straps on top to secure it. And then just over to the driver's side, you're going to find on the bumper extension the 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Moving up onto the body face, we're going to find emergency warning lights just underneath the headlight structure. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find your marker and turn indicator. And then just inside of that location, you'll find your headlights, low and high beam. As we move further up onto the top of the body here, we're going to find just above the headlights, emergency warning lights. As we look to the front logo of the Arizona flag, you'll find the Pierce logo. Just under the Pierce logo, you'll find the release mechanism for the hood. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. Moving to the outer edges, you'll also find 2 mirrors, a flat section and an upper portion which is going to be convexed. Across the brow of the apparatus, we'll find 5 running lights. Moving all the way to the very top of the apparatus to the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Within that light bar in the center, you'll find your Opticom system. Just above the light bar and above the light Opticom is where you'll find your Go light, which is your controlled electronically spotlight from within inside the cab. Let's take a look at the bumper extension side. You'll find emergency warning lights on the side. As we move up, you'll also find grab handles, which are keyed locks. And then also at all points of entry for personnel, you'll find grab handles for access for firefighters in and out of the cab. Let's take a look at some of the close-ups that we just talked about. Tub storage location, Velcro straps for securing the hose. As we look to the swivel, 1.5-inch discharge, water and foam capable. This is going to be the Pierce logo. Just under that Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism. As we look to the headlight structure, low and high beam. High beam is on the inside, low beam are on the outside. This is the mirror. Moving up to the very top, emergency warning and also your Go light. There's a quick shot of the door logo. We'll move just underneath this location here to the step area. Just in front of the step, you'll find your Shoreline connection for your air conditioner. This is an auto eject 20-amp plug. Just beneath it, the red is going to be your Shoreline inlet. As we move just to the right, you'll find an air inlet. Well, let's go ahead and just zoom in on that. This is your air inlet, and then we'll pull back out and we'll take a look. Just under this step location is where you'll find the drain for your front bumper load. Let's move now up to the very rear section of the cab where you're going to find an LED light. This indicates the water level in your tank, and then just above that, a side-facing scene light. Let's move now to some compartments. This is the very lower section. You'll find a compartment with LED lighting and also ventilation. As we move to the mid-section, you're going to find 3 locations for crosslays here. Crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and then you also have a gray, which is the 2.5-inch pre-connected line. Let's go ahead and move now to the pump panel area. We'll talk a little bit about some of the items within that area. Just above the pump panel, you'll find your booster line. And then we'll now start here on the left-hand side with this warning device. This is a warning sticker indicating that there is the possibility of entanglement. Be cautious when these hoses are coming out aloft. We'll start in the upper left-hand corner of the image, first starting with the pump intake. This is your master pump intake gauge. Moving to the right, you'll find the master pump discharge gauge. And then further to the right, you'll find this blue module. This is your water level indicator from full, 3/4, half, quarter, and refill.
Let's move now to the gray area here, where we're going to find on the left your transmission temperature, and then just beneath that you'll find a check transmission. If that light is illuminated, it is in amber color. Let's go around the outside of the gray area for the engine information, starting with your oil temperature at the very top, moving to the right, water temperature, all the way back down to the lower left-hand corner where you'll find your voltage, and then further to the right, you're going to find the fuel level of the apparatus. Located directly in the center, you'll find your tachometer. Let's talk a little bit about some of the warning indications here. First, we'll start with the amber indicators. There are 3 amber indicators: check transmission, check engine, and low fuel. As we move to the red indicators, there are 4: oil pressure, stop your engine, low battery, water temperature. Let's go ahead and start on the left-hand side. We won't identify all of the individual discharges, but starting on the left, you can see they're color-coded and also labeled. Moving to the right, you'll find the vacuum and pressure discharge port. This is for test pressures when doing your pump testing, vacuum and pressure. We'll now take a look at the red module, your Husky Foam System 3. First, the system on-off. You'll find lower than that is the foam percentage, which is a digital readout. In the gray section, you have the ability to increase or decrease that percentage. And then also you have in the yellow a prime button. Further to the right, you'll find 3 LED lights. They're a system status light. The information on those LED lights is just below the operating instructions. To the right, in the same red area, are you going to find your foam system instructions, and then further to the right, you'll find the module indicating the level of foam in the tank. We have a few switches here. We have a spare pump compartment light, rewind, rear scene lights, and then at the very end at this image, you have a pump engaged. This is an indicator lamp, and just beneath that, you'll find driver side flood and passenger side flood. Let's move just to the upper right-hand corner where you'll find your primer. This is an auto prime on-off and primer. You should have at least 1,000 RPMs if you choose to operate the primer. You also have a warning label here regarding fall, not to ride on the side of the apparatus. And then just beneath that, you'll find an audible alarm. There is a bezel around the outside which can kind of lower the volume level by just twisting that. We'll talk a little bit about the pressure throttle governor in a minute, but just beneath that, we'll find your tank fill. And then just beneath that, a wheel. This is going to be your tank to pump. Back up into that indicator here, we do have a green indicator indicating that it's okay to engage the high idle switch. Just beneath that, you're going to find 2 valves here. One is your recirculating line, and the other is the engine cooler. Those are twist, they're not pull. Moving further down to the very bottom, you'll find your pump drain. This is the master drain. And then back over to the left, you'll find this Pierce logo. It's a placard indicating your pump test pressures. Let's go back up to the very top. We have a fall warning here. I just talked about that a few minutes ago. And then let's get started here with your throttle pressure governor. First, starting in the upper left-hand corner, you'll find pump engaged, okay to pump, and throttle ready. Those are all 3 indicators with digital readouts just above that in the digital area. Just beneath that in the red, you'll find an idle button, which will allow your apparatus to go to idle by pushing. You do have a preset if you choose to set those in advance. And then in the yellow, you have increase or decrease. That will increase the PSI or also the RPMs depending on which mode you're in. In the blue, you'll find the menu select button and also a silence button. They're combined within the same button. And then the green is the mode, once again, either throttle control or pressure control. And the indicator in green is just beneath that, indicating which one you're in. Beneath that, you're going to find engine diagnostic information that will illuminate. Let's go ahead and talk about the placard here. This is the 150, 200, and 250 PSI test pressures. On the left-hand side, you'll find your GPMs, which are associated with that PSI. And on the right, you'll find the associated RPMs. This is at a governed speed of 2130. And let's go ahead and move now down to the lower section where you'll find 2.5-inch discharges on this side. And then you'll also find the American flag Eagle Pierce logo is your large diameter pump intake. Just beneath that, you're going to find all your associated pump drains and discharges. for drains, and they're clearly color-coded and also labeled. You do have a 2.5-inch driver's side auxiliary inlet. That's a female inlet. And then also a placard here regarding your minimum operation maintenance schedule. That was for the 150, 200, 250 psi test pressures. To the right in the red plaque, this is your Watrous. You have a CSU pump, and it is a 1500 GPM. To the right, you'll find a warning label here regarding foam failure and not to mix different brands, consistencies, or types. And beneath that, you'll find your draft for foam and also your foam tank. Let's take a look behind this pan door here. This is just gain access behind the pump panel, but inside you do have a foam drain, twist, not a pull. And then you'll also find a yellow handle, and it coincides with the instructions on the left-hand side of the door for your foam operations. Let's move up into the crosslay area. Take a quick look at the top. This is the rear section of the cab. You're going to find two stickers here, difficult to see. This is a no walking surface. That's what those stickers are for. You'll also find in the dunnage area, this is your Husky 3 foam system. This is your hydraulic oil fill location. Let's move up now to the hose bed area. This is just in front of the, or just behind the dunnage area. You're going to find these diamonds indicating the edge of the apparatus for fall. As we move inside, you'll also find the letter A indicating this is your foam fill location for tank A, and then you'll also have your water tank fill location. It is going to be the blue tank. You'll also find the green tank, which is your foam A. There's also a drain located at the very bottom, just under the pump panel, foam pump intake drain and foam pump discharge drain. Let's move around and take a look at some of the compartments. You can see adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and also ventilation inside. You'll find an auto charge system here. When plugged into shore power, this will activate to maintain your batteries. Let's move around to the exterior. You're going to find two bottle storage in front of the rear tire. As we move to the rear section of the tire, you'll find a single SCBA bottle storage location, and then a separate container location for your ultra low sulfur diesel, which is the silver cap. As we move the flap downward, it exposes the 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. That is the blue cap. As we move through the rest of the compartment, you can see this is the section right over the rear tire. You have two SCBA storage locations. We're now to the very rear section. We have a pull-out tray. The release is on the right-hand side. As I look to the top of this compartment, it appears that you have something for future wiring. This is a positive and a negative, or hot and ground. And then as we look just underneath that compartment, you're going to find your folding wheel chock location and release. The rear section of the apparatus, we have a emergency light, brake, turn, and also a backup light. You'll also find the rear scene light. This is a cupped switch which will control the scene light at the very top. At the top of this, we have an emergency warning light, and at the very top we have a scene light. Let's move now to the compartment here. This is a small compartment housing long-handled tool storage and also a 10-foot attic ladder. Moving to the center section here of the apparatus, we're going to find your traffic advisor hidden in the step area. And then also you're going to find just underneath the traffic advisor the location for the camera for your backup. As I move downward into the roll-up compartment, you'll find an adjustable shelf and LED lighting. And let's go back up to the very top section where we're going to find long tool storage. There are 4 long tool storage handled here. And then we also have 2 longboard or backboards for EMS located here. As we move around now to the side compartments, you can see once again LED lighting. This has a smooth floor on the very bottom. Moving forward to that location, we're going to find a single SCBA bottle storage location. Moving further forward, we're going to find the hydraulic rack reservoir. This is for the hydraulic rack that's overhead. This is the fill location and also instructions here on the right-hand side for the type of hydraulic oil. Moving around now to the passenger side, we have 2 SCBA storage locations and then also 2 bottle storage locations just in front of the rear wheel. As we move to the next compartment forward, you can see we have adjustable shelves and also LED lighting. Let's look now to the midsection. I would like to point out this logo here, or label, indicating a warning that you shouldn't write on the side of your apparatus. This is your powered equipment rack module. There is a danger because of those being hydraulic and moving, so we have a danger label here. There is information here on how to raise and also lower. Master on-off switch will give you a green indicator when it's on, and then the lift up or down. Just beneath that, you'll find the reel rewind. Inside the panel, or behind the panel, I should say, you'll find your intake relieve, the arrow indicating the setting location. On the passenger side, you also have two 2.5-inch discharge. Located here between the Pierce logo, American flag, eagle, is your large diameter pump intake. And to the right, this is your passenger side discharge, that is the green label. Just beneath that, you'll find a passenger side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch ball valve. Down the lower section, you're going to find all your associated drains and also your relief valve drain. Let's go ahead and move forward now back to the cab area, where you'll find this lower compartment, LED lighting inside. Let's take a look inside the cab. This is standing from the exterior doorway looking in. You'll find radio battery charging system, and then just above that you'll find an access or storage location underneath the pedestal for the 2 rear seats. As we look to the front section, you'll find resource storage. You also have 12-volt access, and then just underneath that you're going to find your daily checks. This is the location for the oil and transmission, and there's also a light just inside that compartment. Let's now move behind the seat. This is behind the driver and officer seat. We're going to find your EQ2B. This is your siren module. Just a quick look from the rear section facing forward. Let's start now in the officer's area. Would like to point out a couple of warning labels here. This is a warning label because your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, SRS, an airbag. Do not block this area or mount anything within this area. Down in the lower section, you'll find a danger regarding not using your seatbelt. And then to the right, you'll find on all points of entry at all doors, we have additional warning labels. Once again, close up here, this is your supplemental restraint system, airbag, and there's also instructions just beneath that. We'll now look to the left-hand side of the officer. This is the air horn push button. Just beneath it, 2 12-volt access, 1 barrel style or cigarette style, and the next one beneath that is USB style. As I move forward of this location toward the center of the vehicle, we're going to find your vehicle data recorder port. This is a report to gain information from. Just a quick look overhead. This is from the officer seat. Let's start with the memory buttons. First, we have an emergency master in red. We have some future switch locations if you choose to program at a later date, your passenger side and rear scene lights. Located more toward the center, we're going to find your EQ2B. This is the federal siren and also PA system. And then also the go light on-off switch and a control module for that. You also have a weather band radio located at the very top. Let's move now to the driver's area, where you'll find some seatbelt warning information. And you'll also find some additional warning information on, once again, all points of entry for those doors. As I move also, you'll find all of your seatbelts are red in color for ease of identification. Down at the lower section, you're going to find your auto charge. When plugged into shore power, your auto charge system will operate. Down at the left foot of the operator, you're going to find the air horn and mechanical siren. About the left knee, we're going to find the modules here for one, your tech module. This is a plug-in. And also engine, transmission, and ABS diagnostic ports. And then any displays that you may have, that's also the plugins. Those are the coinciding switches for selecting those items that you've selected. As I look to the Pierce manufactured for Superstition Fire, you'll find the date of manufactured on this placard, job number. You'll also find gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, and then all of your fluid components, fluid capacities, and types. This is going to be an emergency brake. This is your auxiliary or secondary brake located about the right knee. As we move to the dash area, we're going to find at the very top the hazard lights. Next one down is going to be your start switch, and then your ignition switch just beneath that. As I move just inside of that location, you'll find a very small switch labeled EM, stands for Emergency Master. This will control all of your emergency lights. Just inside of that location, you'll find your parking lights and also headlight control. And then you'll find a panel switch, which will allow you to dim or brighten the panel lights. Let's move to the dash now. Starting on the left-hand side, we're going to find your transmission oil, DEF level, and water temperature. Located on the right, you'll find the volts front air, fuel, and rear air. Tachometer and speedometer located in the center. Informational diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. To the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and also push to release. Also further to the right, you'll find this command center. Tremendous amount of information here right at your fingertips. I suggest seeking the owner's manual for more information. You have an Allison transmission with an information here to pump in drive. As we move to some more switches, we do have a fuel primer, additional future locations for additional switches, engine brake on and off, settings for that brake of low, medium, and high, also an on-off for your fuse block, and then also a rear compartment. You do have a pump shift. This is the road to pump instructions and then pump to road. There are 2 green indicators located on the left-hand side of your pump shift. Before you exit the cab, you should have pump engaged and OK to pump prior to exiting the cab for proper operations. Moving up, you'll find the control for the go light, and then further up, you'll find mirror controls. Let's go ahead and move to the center. This is your climate control for heat defrost and also air conditioning. Quick look overhead. I'd like to start in the upper left-hand corner of this image with this yellow placard. This is as it left the vehicle's manufacturer. 10 feet 6 inches is the height, length 33 feet 10 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 48,500 pounds, and in the lower section here we have a job number of 32973. If you make any change to your vehicle, please update this placard. As we move to the right, you're going to find emergency master in red, roof light, front warning, and side warning lights. In the next section down, you're going to find the lower rear warning, upper rear warning, a momentary opticom, which will turn on and off your opticom momentarily, and then also a high beam flash. Moving to the right, you have driver's side and passenger side floodlights, rear scene lights. The next section down, you have an air horn, a siren brake, electronic siren, and load manager. Let's move just slightly to the right here where you'll find your traffic advisor. You do have some options, left, right, split, or flash, and it also gives the direction while it's engaged. Located in the center, you're going to find your siren control and PA speaker system. Located just in front of that, you're going to find this red LED indicator that will flash if you have a compartment or a door open or your ladder rack down. Just a quick image here from the front to the rear, 2 center mounted seats. As we move to the front section, you'll find resource storage or map books. And then as we look to the very rear section, I'd like to point out point of entry. So we have those warning labels here as a reminder. And then your vehicle's also equipped with this grab handle, which is in red at the hinge side to assist firefighters in and out of the cab. As I look to the rear seats, we do have a pedestal here allowing for storage with underneath that. Congratulations, Superstition Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32973. If you have any questions about this video or any future questions about your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.